let's begin. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुर्वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगुणरघुनाथां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च महाराण्याय कृष्णाय कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्याय हे कृष्ण कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विष्णुश्रुति देवी वांछाकल्पते कृपासिन्धुदेव च पतितं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे कृष्ण. Today we'll be reading the third chapter of the second canto Srimad Bhagavatam. The topic is pure devotional service, the change in heart. Text 1, Sukadeva Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, as you have inquired from me to the duty of intelligent man who is on the threshold of death, so I have answered you. Text 2 to 7, one who desires to be absorbed in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgence should worship the master of the Vedas, Lord Brahma, or Brihaspati, the learned priest. One who desires powerful sex should worship the heavenly king Indra, and one who desires good progeny should worship the great progenitor called the Prajapatis. One who desires good fortune should worship Durga Devi, the superintendent of the material world. One desiring to be very powerful should worship fire, and one who aspires only after money should worship the Vasus. One should worship the Rudra incarnation of the Lord Shiva. If he wants to be a great hero, one who wants a large stock of grain should worship Aditi. One who desires to attain the heavenly planet should worship the sons of Aditi. One who desires a worldly kingdom should worship Viswadeva. And one who wants to be popular with the great general mass of population should worship the Sadhya Devata, demigod. One who desires a long span of life should worship the demigod known as Ashwini Kumaras. And a person desiring strongly built body should worship the earth. One who desires stability in his post should worship the horizon of the earth combined. One who desires to be beautiful should worship the beautiful residents of the Gandhar planets, and one who desires a good wife should worship the Apsaras and the Urvasi society girls of the heavenly kingdom. One who desires domination over others should worship Lord Brahma and the head of the universe. One who desires tangible fame should worship the personality of Godhead, and one who desires a good bank balance should worship the demigod Varun. If one desires to be a greatly learned man, he should worship Lord Shiva, and if one desires a good material relation, he should worship the chaste goddess Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva. Text 8. One should worship Lord Vishnu or his devotees for spiritual advancement in knowledge, and for protection of hereditary and advancement of the dynasty, one should worship the various demigods. Text 9. One who desires domination over a kingdom or an empire should worship the Manus. One who desires victory over an enemy should worship the demons. And one who desires sense gratification should worship the moon. One who desires nothing for material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 10. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he will be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead. Text 11. All the different kinds of worshippers of multi demigod can attain the highest perfection of benediction, which is spontaneous attraction unflinchingly fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead only by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord. Text 2. Transcendental knowledge is in relation with the Supreme Lord Hari is knowledge resulting in the complete suspension of the waves and whirlpools of the material mode. Such knowledge is self-satisfying due to its being free from material attachment and being transcendental. It is approved by authorities who could fail to be attracted. Sonaka said, the son of Vyasdev, Srila Sukadev Goswami, was a highly learned sage and was able to describe things in a poetic manner. What did Maharaj Parikshit again inquire from him after hearing all that he said? Expert in O learned Sutta Goswami, please continue to explain such topics to us because we are all eager to hear. Besides that, topics which result in the discussion of Lord Hari should certainly be discussed in the assembly of devotees. Text 15. Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of the Pandavas, was from his very childhood a great devotee of the Lord. Even while playing with dolls, he used to worship Lord Krishna by imitating the worship of the family deity. Text 16. Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasdev, was also full in transcendental knowledge and was great devotee of Lord Krishna, so son of Vasudev. So there must have been discussion of Lord Krishna, who is glorified by great philosophers and in the company of great devotees. Text 17. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all good personality of Godhead. Text 18. Do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? All around us, do the beasts not eat and discharge semen? Text 19. Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna, the deliverer from evils. Text 20. One who has not listened to the message about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of God and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snakes and the tongue like the tongue of frog. Text 21. The upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead, who can award mukti, freedom. And the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man if not entangled in the service of the personality of Godhead Hari. Text 22. The eyes which do not look at the symbolic representation of the personality of Godhead Vishnu, his forms, name, quality, etc., are like those printed on the plumes of the peacock, and the legs which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered are considered to be like tree trunks. Text 23. The person who has not at any point time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Text 24. Certainly that heart is still framed, which, in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change when ecstasy takes place. Tears fill the eyes and the hair stand on end. Text 25. O Sutta Goswami, your words are pleasing to our minds. Please therefore explain this to us as it was spoken by the great devotee Sukadev Goswami, who is very expert in transcendental knowledge and who spoke to Maharaj Parikshit upon being asked. Thank you. प्रभु कोई भी आप लोग में से पढ़ सकते हैं
मैं पढ़ता हूँ कृष्णा
जी पढ़िए
Text 1. The process, chapter 4, the process of creation. Text 1. Shuta Goswami said, Maharaja Parikshit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Sri Shukadeva Goswami, which were all about the truth of the self, applied his concentration faithfully upon Lord Shri Krishna. Text 2. Maharaja Parikshit, as a result of his wholehearted attraction for Lord Shri Krishna, was able to give up all deep-rooted affection for his personal body, his wife, his children, his palace, his animals like horses and elephants, his treasury house, his friends and relatives, and his undisputed kingdom. Text 3 and 4. O great sages, the great soul Maharaja Parikshit, constantly wrapped in the thought of Lord Shri Krishna, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all sort of fruitive activities, namely acts of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Lord Shri Krishna and asked all these questions exactly as you are asking me. Text 5. Maharaja Parikshit said, O learned Brahmana, you know everything because you are without material contaminations. Therefore, whatever you have spoken to me appears perfectly right. Your speeches are gradually destroying the darkness of my ignorance, for you are narrating the topics of Lord, or the topics of the Lord. Parts text 6. I beg to you, I beg to know from you how the personality of Godhead by his personal energies created this phenomenal universe as they are, which are inconceivable even to the great demigods. Text 7. Kindly describe how the Supreme Lord, who is all powerful, engages his different energies and different expansions in maintaining and again winding up the phenomenal world in the sporting spirit of a player. Text 8. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. Text 9. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature. Text 10. Kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries because not only vastly you are not only vastly learned in Vedic literatures and self-realized in transcendence, but also a great devotee of the Lord and therefore as good as the personality of Godhead. Text 11. Srila Shuta Goswami said when Shukadeva Goswami was thus required by the king to describe the creative energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he then systematically remembered the master of senses, Shri Krishna, and to reply properly he spoke thus. Srila Shukadeva Goswami said, next to Srila Shukadeva Goswami said, let me offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who for the creation of the material world accepts the three modes of nature. He is the complete whole residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable. Text 13. I again offer my respectful obeisance unto the form of complete existence and transcendence, who is the liberator of the pious devotees from all distress and the destroyer of the further advances in aesthetic temperament of non-devotee demons. But the transcendentalist who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, he grants their specific destinations. Text 14. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto him who is associate of the members of the Yadu dynasty and who is always a problem for the non-devotees. He is the superior enjoyer of both the material and spiritual world. Yet he enjoys his own abode in spiritual sky. There is no equal to him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. Text 15. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto the all auspicious Lord Shri Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrance, audience, prayers, hearing, and worship can at once cleanse the effects of all sins of the performer. Text 16. Let me offer my respectful obeisance again and again unto the all auspicious Lord Shri Krishna, the highly intellectual, simply by surrendering unto his lotus feet and relieved from all attachment to present and future existence and without difficulty progress towards spiritual existence. Text 17. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto the all auspicious Lord Shri Krishna again and again because the great learned sages, the great performers of charity, the great workers of distinction, the great philosophers and mystics, the great chanters of the Vedic hymns, and the great followers of Vedic principle cannot achieve any fruitful results without dedication of such great qualities to the service of the Lord. Text 18. Kirata, Huna, Andhara, Pulinda, Pulaksha, Abhira, Shumbha, Yavana, members of the Kasha races, and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord due to his being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisance unto him. Text 19. He is the super soul and the supreme Lord of all self-realized soul. He is the personification of the Vedas, religious scriptures, and austerities. He is worshipped by Lord Brahma and Shiva and all those who are transcendental to all presentation pretensions. Being so revered with awe and veneration, may that supreme absolute be pleased with me. Text 20. May Lord Shri Krishna, who is the worshipable Lord of all devotees, the protector and glory of all the kings like Andhaka and Urinshi of the Yodu dynasty, the husband of all goddesses of fortune, the director of all sacrifice and therefore the leader of all living entities, the controller of all intelligence, the proprietor of all planets, spiritual and material, and the supreme incarnation on the earth, the supreme all in all, be merciful upon me. Text 21. It is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who gives liberation by thinking of his lotus feet at every second, following in the footsteps of the authorities. The devotee in the trance can see the absolute truth. The learned mental speculators, however, think of him according to their whims. May the Lord be pleased with me. Text 22. May the Lord, who is the beginning of the creation, amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the be pleased mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. Text 23. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivens the materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who in his Purusha incarnation causes the living beings to be subjected to the 16 divisions of the material modes, which are his generated, be pleased to decorate my statements. Text 24. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of Vasudeva, who compiled the Vedic scriptures. The pure devotees drink of the nectarian transcendental knowledge dropping from the lotus-like mouth of the Lord. Text 25. My dear King Brahma, the first one on the being questioned by Narada, exactly appraised him on this subject as it had been directly spoken by the Lord to his own son, who was impregnated with Vedic knowledge from his very birth. Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा. रूपेश आप पढ़ रहे हैं क्या? हरे कृष्णा.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
जी प्रभु. शायद वो सुन नहीं पा रहे हैं. करिए, वो तो नहीं सुन पा रहे हैं.
मेरा आवाज है तो आ रहा है ना?
जी जी. थोड़ा सा लाउड हो सकता है, मतलब थोड़ा लाउड कम है. ठीक है.
ओके. ठीक है, मैं कंटिन्यू करता हूँ. चैप्टर 5.
हेलो.
हरे कृष्ण ब्रो.
हाँ जी प्रो, मैं बोल रहा था, मैं थोड़ा बाहर आया हूँ अभी, तो मैं थोड़ा 10-15 मिनट में घर पहुंच जाऊंगा, उसके बाद मैं कंटिन्यू कर सकता हूँ.
ओके, श्योर ब्रो.
हाँ, मतलब अभी सुन.
प्रभु जी, आप कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं क्या? आप कर लीजिए, नहीं तो.
हरे कृष्णा, कैन आई कंटिन्यू?
कोई भी पढ़ लीजिए, उसमें क्या है.
ओके, मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ.
जी.
1 minute. Chapter 5, The Cause of All Causes. Text 1. Sri Narad Muni asked Brahma Ji, O chief amongst the demigods, O firstborn living entity, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please tell me that transcendental knowledge which is specific, specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the super soul. Text 2. My dear father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control is all this being done? Text 3. My dear father, all this is known to you scientifically because whatever was created in the past, whatever will be created in the future, or whatever is being created at present, as well as everything within the universe, is within your grip, just like a walnut. Text 4. My dear father, what is the source of your knowledge? Under whose protection are you standing? Scroll down. Yeah. And under whom are you working? What is your real position? Do you alone create all entities with material elements by your personal energy? Text 5. As the spider very easily creates the network of its co-web and manifests its power of creation without being defeated by others, so also you yourself, by employment of your self-sufficient energy, create without any other's help. Text 6. Whatever we can understand by the nomenclature, characteristics, and feature of a particular thing, superior, inferior, or equal, eternal, or temporary, is not created from any source other than that of your Lordship. Thou so great. Text 7. Yet we are moved to wonder about the existence of someone more powerful than, than you when we think of your great austerities in perfect discipline, although your good is so powerful in the matter of creation. Text 8. My dear Father, you know everything, and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me, so that I may be able to understand it as your student. Text 9. Lord Brahma said, my dear boy Narad, being merciful to all, including me, you have asked all these questions because I have been inspired to see into the prowess of the Almighty Personality of Godhead. Text 10. Whenever you have spoken about me is not false, because unless and until one is aware of the personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate truth beyond me, one is sure to be illusioned by the observer of my powerful activities. I scroll. Text 11. I create after the Lord's creation by his personal effulgence known as Brahma Jyoti. Just as when the sun manifests its fire, the moon, the firmament, the influential planets, and the twinkling stars also manifest their brightness. Text 12. I offer my obeisances and meditate upon Lord Krishna Vasudev, the personality of Godhead, whose invincible potency influences them, the less intelligent class of men, to call me the supreme controller. Text 13. The illusory energy of the Lord cannot take precedence, being ashamed of her position, but those who are bewildered by her always talk nonsense, being absorbed in thoughts of it is I and it is mine. Text 14. The five elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof set up by eternal time, and the intuition of nature of the individual living beings are all differentiated parts and parcel of the personality of Godhead Vasudev, and in truth there is no other value in them. Text 15. The Vedic literatures are made by and are meant for the Supreme Lord. The demigods are also meant for serving the Lord as parts of his body. The different planets are also meant for the sake of the Lord, and different sacrifices are performed just to please him. Text 16. All different types of meditation or mysticism are means for realizing Narayan. All austerities are claimed aimed at achieving Narayan. Culture of transcendental knowledge is for getting a glimpse of Narayan, and ultimately salvation is entering the kingdom of Narayan. Text 17. Inspired by him only, I discovered what is already created by him, Narayan, under his vision as the all pervading super soul. I also am created by him only. Text 18. The Supreme Lord is pure, spiritual form, transcendental to all material qualities, yet for the sake of the creation of the material world and its maintenance and annihilation, he accepts through his external energy. the material modes of nature called goodness, passion, and ignorance. Text 19. These three modes of material nature being further manifested as matter, knowledge, and activities put the eternally transcendental living entity under conditions of cause and effect and make him responsible for such activities. Text 20. O Brahman Narad, the superseer, the transcendental Lord is beyond the perception of the material senses of the living entities because of the above mentioned three modes of nature. But he is the controller of everyone, including me. Text 21. The Lord, who is the controller of all energies, thus creates by his own potency, eternal time, the fate of all living entities and their particular nature, for which they were created, and he again merges them independently. Text 22. After the incarnation of the first Purus, Karano Karanavasi Vishnu, the Mahat Tattva, or the principles of material creation take place, and then time is manifested, and in course of time the three qualities appear. Nature means the three qualities, three qualitative appearances. They transform into activities. Text 23. Material activities are caused by the Mahat Tattva being agitated. At first, there is transformation of the mode of goodness and passion, and later, due to the mode of ignorance, matter, its knowledge, and different activities of material knowledge come into play. Text 24. The self centered materialistic ego, thus being transformed into three features, becomes known as the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance in three divisions, namely the powers that evolve matter, knowledge of material creations, and the intelligence that guides such materialistic activities. Narad, you are quite competent to understand this. Text 25. From the darkness of false ego, the first of the five elements, namely the sky, is generated. Its subtle form is the quality of sound, exactly as the seer in his relationship with the scene. Text 25 to 29. Because the sky is transformed, the air is generated with the quality of touch, and by previous succession, the air is also full of sound and the basic principles of duration of life, sense perception, mental power, and bodily strength. When the air is transformed in course of time and nature's course, fire is generated, taking shape with the sense of touch and sound. Since fire is also transformed, uh, there is a manifestation of water full of juice and taste. As previously, it also has form and touch, and is also full of sound. And water, being transformed from all variegatedness on earth, appears odorous and as previously become qualitatively full of juice, touch, sound, form respectively. Text 30. From the mode of goodness, the mind is generated and becomes manifest, and also the 10 demigods controlling the bodily movements. Such demigods are known as the controllers of direction, the controller of air, the sun god, the father of Daksh Prajapati, the Aswini Kumaras, the fire god, the king of heaven, and the worshipable deity in heaven, the chief of Adityas and Brahmaji, the Prajapati, all come into existence. Text 31. By further transformation of the mode of passion, the sense organs like the ear, skin, nose, eyes, tongue, mouth, hands, genitals, legs, and the outlet for evacuating, together with intelligence and living energy, are all generated. Text 33. O Narad, best of the transcendentalists, The forms of the body cannot take place as long as these created parts, namely the elements, senses, mind, and modes of nature, are not assembled. Text 33. Thus, when all this became assembled by force of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this universe certainly came into being by accepting both the primary and secondary causes of creation. Text 34. Thus, all the universe remained thousands of aeons within the water, the causal ocean, and the Lord of living beings entered into each of them, caused them to be fully animated. Text 35. The Lord, Mahavishnu, although lying in the causal ocean, came out of it and dividing himself as Hiranyagarbha. He entered into each universe and assumed a Virat Roop with thousands of legs, arms, mouths, hands, etc. Text 36. Great philosophers imagine that the complete planetary systems in the universe are displays of different upper and lower limbs of the universal body of the Lord. Text 37. The Brahmanas represent his mouth, the Kshatriyas his arms, the Vaisyas his thighs, and the Sudras are born of his legs. Text 38. The lower planetary systems up to the limit of earthly stratum are said to be situated in his legs. The middle planetary systems beginning from Bhuvarlok are situated in his navel, and the still higher planetary systems occupied by the demigods and highly cultured sages and saints are situated in the chest of the Supreme Lord. Text 39. From the forefront of the chest up to the neck of the universal form of the Lord are situated the planetary systems named Janlok and Tapolok, whereas Satyalok, the topmost planetary system, is situated on the head of the form. The spiritual planets, however, are eternal. Text 40 and 41. My dear son Narad, know from me that there are 7 lower planetary systems out of the total 14. The first planetary system, known as Atal, is situated on the waist. The second, Vital, is situated on the thighs. The third is Sutal on the knees. The fourth, Talatal on the shanks. The fifth, Mahatal on the ankles. The sixth, Rasatal on the upper portion of the feet. The seventh, Patal on the sole of the feet. Thus, the Virat form of the Lord is full of all planetary systems. Text 42. Others may divide the whole planetary systems into 3 divisions, namely the lower planetary systems on the legs up to the earth, the middle planetary systems on the navel, and the upper planetary system, Swarloka, from the chest to the head of the personality of Godhead. हाँ प्रभु जी, कोई और कंटिन्यू करिए.
ये प्रभु जी, आप वॉलंटरली कोई भी पढ़ सकते हैं.
ठीक है, मैं कंटिन्यू करूं?
करिए प्रभु.
कैन आई कंटिन्यू?
जी प्रभु, बिल्कुल, यू कैन कंटिन्यू.
Okay. Chapter 6. Purusha Shukta confirmed. Text 1. Lord Brahma said, the mouth of the Virat Purusha, the universal form of the Lord, is the generating center of the voice, and the controlling deity is fire. His skin and 6 other layers are the generating centers of the Vedic hymns, and his tongue is the productive center of different foodstuffs and delicacies for offering to the demigods, the forefathers, and the general mass of people. Text 2. His nostrils are the generating centers of our breathing and of all other airs. His smelling power generates the Ashwini Kumara demigods and all kinds of medicinal herbs, and his breathing energies produce different kinds of fragrance. Text 3. His eyes are the generating centers of all kinds of forms, and they glitter and illuminate. His eyeballs are like the sun and the heavenly planets. His ears hear from all sides and are receptacle receptacles for all the Vedas, and his sense of hearing is the generating center of the sky and of all kind of sounds. Text 4. His bodily surface is the breeding ground for the active principles of everything and for all kinds of auspicious opportunities. His skin, like the moving air, is the generating center for all kinds of sense of touch and is the place for performing all kinds of sacrifice. Text 5. The hairs on his body are the cause of all vegetation, particularly of those trees which are required as ingredients for sacrifice. The hairs on his head and face are reservoirs for the clouds, and his nails are the breeding ground of electricity, stones, and iron ores. Text 6. The Lord's arms are the productive fields for the great demigods and other leaders of the living entities who protect the general mass. Text 7. Thus, the forward steps of the Lord are the shelter for the upper, lower, and heavenly planets, as well as for all we need. His lotus feet serve as protection from all kinds of fear. Text 8. From the Lord's genitals originate water, semen, generatives, rains, and the procreators. His genitals are the cause of a pleasure that counteracts the distress of begetting. Text 9. O Narada, the evacuating outlet of the universal form of the Lord is the abode of the controlling deity of death, Mitra, and the evacuating hole and the rectum of the Lord is the place of envy, misfortune, death, hell, etc. Text 10. The back of the Lord is a place for all kinds of frustration and ignorance, as well as for immorality. From his veins flow the great rivers and rivulets, and on his bones are stacked the great mountains. Text. The impersonal feature of the Lord is the abode of great oceans, and his belly is the resting place for the materially annihilated living entities. His heart is the abode of the subtle material bodies of living beings. Thus it is known by the intelligent class of men. Text 12. Also, the consciousness of that great personality is the abode of religious principles. Mine, yours, and those of the four bachelors, Sanaka, Sanatan, Sanat Kumar, and Sanandan. That consciousness is also the abode of truth and transcendental knowledge. Text 13 to 16. Beginning from me, Brahma, down to you and Bhava, Shiva, all the great sages who were born before you, the demigods, the demons, the nagas, the human beings, the birds, the beasts, as well as all reptiles, etc., and all phenomenal manifestations of the universes, namely the planets, stars, asteroids, luminaries, lighting, thunder, and the inhabitants of the different planetary systems, namely the Gandharvas, Apsaras, Yakshas, Rakshas, Bhutaganas, Uragas, Pashus, Pitas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Karanas, and all other different varieties of living entities, including the birds, beasts, tree, and everything that can be, are all covered by the universal form of the Lord at all times, namely past, present, and future. Although he is transcendental to all of them, eternally existing in a form not exceeding 9 inches. Text 17. The sun illuminates both internally and externally by expanding its radiation. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by expanding his universal form, maintains everything in the creation, both internally and externally. Text 18. Just scroll a little bit. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the controller of immorality and fearlessness, and he is transcendental to death and the fruitive actions of the material world. O Narada, O Brahmana, it is therefore difficult to measure the glories of the Supreme Person. Text 19. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is to be known as the supreme reservoir of all material opulences by the 1/4 of his energy in which all the living entities exist. Deathlessness, fearlessness, from all the anxieties of old age and disease exist in the kingdom of God, which is beyond the three higher planetary systems and beyond the material coverings. Text 20. The spiritual world, which consists of three-fourths of the Lord's energy, is situated beyond this material world, and it is especially meant for all those who will never be reborn. Others who are attached to family life and who do not strictly follow celibacy vows must live within the three material worlds. Text 21. By his energies, the all-pervading personality of Godhead is thus comprehensively the master in the activities of controlling and in devotional service. He is the ultimate master of both nescience and factual knowledge of all situations. Text 22. From the personality of Godhead, all the universal globes and the universal form with all material elements, qualities, and senses are generated. Yet he is aloof from such material manifestations, like the sun, which is separate from its rays and heat. Text 23. When I was born from the abdominal lotus flower of the Lord, Mahavishnu, the great person, I had no ingredients for sacrificial performances except the bodily limbs of the great personality of Godhead. Text 24. For performing such sacrificial ceremonies, one requires sacrificial ingredients such as flowers, leaves, and straw, along with the sacrificial altar and a suitable time, spring. Text 25. Other requirements are utensils, grains, clarified butter, honey, gold, earth, water, the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, and Samveda, and 4 priests to perform the sacrifice. Text 26. Other necessities include evoking the different names of the demigods by specific themes and vows of recompense in accordance with the particular scripture for specific purposes and by specific processes. Text 27. Thus, I had to arrange all these necessary ingredients and paraphernalia of sacrifice from the personal bodily parts of the personality of Godhead. By invocation of the demigods' names, the ultimate goal, Vishnu, was gradually attained, and thus compensation and ultimate offering were complete. Text 28. Thus, I created the ingredients and paraphernalia for offering sacrifice out of the parts of the body of the Supreme Personality, Supreme Lord, the enjoyer of the sacrifice, and I performed the sacrifice to satisfy the Lord. Text 29. My dear son, thereafter your 9 brothers who are the master of living creatures perform this sacrifice with proper rituals to satisfy both the manifested and non-manifested personalities. Text 30. Thereafter, the Manus, the father of mankind, the great sages, the forefathers, the learned scholars, the Daityas and mankind performed sacrifices meant to please the Supreme Lord. Text 31. All the material manifestations of the universes are therefore situated in his powerful material energies, which he accepts self-sufficiently, although he is eternally without affinity for the material modes. Text 32. By his will, I create, Lord Shiva destroys, and he himself, in his eternal form as a personality of Godhead, maintains everything. He is the powerful controller of these 3 energies. Text 33. My dear son, whatever you inquired from me, I have thus explained unto you, and you must know for certain that whatever there is, either as cause or as effect, both in the material and spiritual worlds, is dependent on the personality of Godhead. Text 34. O Narada, because I have caught hold of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, with great zeal, whatever I say has never proved to have been false, nor is the progress of my mind ever deferred, nor are my senses ever degraded by temporary attachment to matter. Text 35. Although I am known as a great Brahma, perfect in the disciplining succession of Vedic wisdom, and although I have undergone all austerities and am an expert in mystic powers and self-realization, and although I am recognized as such by the great forefathers of the living entities who offer me respectful obeisances, still I cannot understand him, the Lord, the very source of my birth. Text 36. Therefore it is best for me to surrender onto his feet, which alone can deliver one from the miseries of repeated birth and death. Such surrender is all auspicious and allows one to perceive all happiness. Even the sky cannot estimate the limits of its own expansion. So what can others do when the Lord himself is unable to estimate his own limits? Text 37. Since neither Lord Shiva nor you nor I could ascertain the limits of spiritual happiness, how can other demigods know it? And because of all of us are bewildered by the illusory external energy of the Supreme Lord, we can see only this manifested cosmos according to our individual ability. Text 38. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto that Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose incarnations and activities are chanted by us for glorification, though he can hardly be fully known as he is. Text 39. The Supreme Original Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, expanding his plenary portion as Mahavishnu, the first incarnation, creates this manifested cosmos. But he is unborn. The creation, however, takes place in him, and the material substance and manifestations are all himself. He maintains them for some time and absorbs them into himself again. Text 40 and 41. The personality of Godhead is pure, being free from all contaminations of material tinges. He is the absolute truth and the embodiment of full and perfect knowledge. He is all pervading without beginning or end and without rival. O Narada, O great sage, the great thinkers can know him when completely freed from all material hankerings and when sheltered under undisturbed conditions of the senses. Otherwise, by untenable arguments, all is distorted and the Lord disappears from our sight. Text 42. Karana Navashai Vishnu is the first incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and he is the master of eternal time, space, cause, and effects. Mind, the elements, the material ego, the modes of nature, the senses, the universal form of Lord, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and the sum total of all living beings, both moving and unmoving. Text 43 till 45. I myself, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu, great generators of living beings, like Daksha and Prajapati, yourselves, Narada and the Kumaras, heavenly demigods like Indra and Chandra, the leaders of the Bhurlok planets, the leaders of the earthly planets, the leaders of the lower planets, the leaders of the Gandharva planets, the leaders of the Vidyadhara planets, the leaders of the Karanalok planets, the leaders of Yakshas, Rakshas, and Uragas, the great sages, the great demons, the great atheists, and the great spacemen, as well as all the dead bodies, evil spirits, satans, jinn, kushmandas, great aquatics, great beasts, and great birds, etc. In other words, anything and everything which is exceptionally possessed of power, opulence, mental and perceptual dexterity, strength, forgiveness, beauty, modesty, opulence, and breeding, whether in form or formless, may appear to be the specific truth and the form of the Lord, but actually they are not so. They are only a fragment of the transcendental potency of the Lord. Text 46. O Narada, now I shall state one after another the transcendental incarnations of the... can you please scroll?
It's already scrolled, like it's already scrolled. Can you just see?
Yes, I can see. O Narada, now I shall state one after another the transcendental incarnation of the Lord as Leela avatars. Hearing of their activities counteracts all four matters accumulated in the ear. These pastimes are pleasing to hear and are to be relished. Therefore, they are in my heart. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. So let's keep it here for the day. It's already 4 chapters. ज़्यादा पढ़ेंगे तो कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आएगा. बाकी होगा क्या कहना है? तो जी, तो टाइमिंग की बड़ी इशू आ रही है. अभी तो 6:30 टाइम फिक्स हो गया था, सब बढ़िया चल रहा था, बट वही अब रोज के क्लासेस रहेंगे मेरे ख्याल से शाम को, क्योंकि कल वो क्लास में बोल रहे थे ना, कल एक्चुअली वो बोल रहे थे कि सब... जी बोलिए.
प्रभु जी, इसको 6:15 से भी हम कर सकते हैं 45 मिनट के लिए.
हाँ, वैसे भी कर सकते हैं.
वो भी ज्यादा खास अंतर नहीं ला रहा है 15 मिनट्स. आई थिंक, मतलब आपको कैसा लग रहा है? मतलब नॉर्मल लग रहा है या हेक्टिक लग रहा है 2.5 घंटा?
नहीं, अभी तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं प्रभु जी मुझे.
अब